Could you explain a little bit more about your current trading edge? So how do you actually form a trade idea? And if you could give an example of a trade idea.
So there's two things. There's the method and there's the strategy, right? So the method is based on this combination of wisdom of crowds on one hand. So we ask people what you think, where they think the market is going to be by the end of the week, and what you think other people around you think, right? So think of it as a combination of momentum / sentiment, right? So I'm trying to pick up sentiment from people, and it's basically a sort of a momentum thing. In addition to these two questions that we do for our survey competition, where we reward people with actual money for participating and for being potentially good at this, we also have this element of network analysis where we try to figure out which people are in clusters, in bubbles. So for example, you can be a perma bear or a perma bull. Every week the market is just, there's a crash. You're going to be right once, but your opinion is not going to be very, very valued for us. So we're trying to find people in between, right? So heterogeneous groups. So you have different ideas of where the market is potentially heading. And this is based on our ideas before, when we did elections, when we did market research. So that's the first part. And so from that methodology, we get a signal. And the signal tells us either it's binary, right? Up or down, right? So we place either puts or calls every Wednesday, and we buy today to expiry options. And that's the strategy part. They expire on Friday, we buy them on Wednesday. If we're right, if we're very right, if it's very a strong directional move, then we make multiples of what we risk. When we're wrong, we only lose what we risk. And here's the best part of it is that we only risk 2% of our entire portfolio, right? So the total value of the option position is 2% of the portfolio, right? If markets drop down 20% and we're long, we can only lose 2% that given week.
Yeah.
Right? And the next week it starts over. And that's why it's good, because every week is uncorrelated. Every week is a separate play. And we know that in a given year, we have the statistical edge because our methodology gives us something between 60 and 70. It's never been less than 60. It's never been over than 70. But it's a decent edge that gives us opportunity to make money 60% of the time. However, if you look at the returns on an annual basis, you're going to get, most weeks are going to be around 1 to 2% win. Some weeks are going to be 1 to 2% loss. But then you get like 5 or 6 weeks a year where we make 6, 7, 8%. So every year, the bulk of our annual return is driven by a few really, really good weeks. And this is when we get the direction really right. So for example, the last time this happened was FOMC in December. We went short, markets went down 3%, we made 7% that week. That's an example.